She said nobody would believe me. The recording quality was actually pretty good. I walked into Professor Victoria Ashford's office at 3:15 p.m. on a Wednesday for what I thought was a routine meeting about my senior thesis project. As a computer engineering student at Stanford, I've been working on machine learning applications for months and needed her approval to proceed to the next phase. Victoria was known as one of the toughest professors in the department, brilliant but demanding, with a reputation for pushing students beyond their comfort zones. She'd been my advisor for 2 years, and I'd always respected her expertise despite her sometimes harsh teaching methods. What I didn't expect was for the meeting to turn into an hour-long tirade about how I'd supposedly plagiarized sections of my research proposal, despite having submitted every reference and citation exactly as required by department guidelines. This section here, Victoria said, tapping her screen aggressively while highlighting portions of my work, is clearly copied from a published paper. Did you think I wouldn't notice? That I'm too stupid to recognize when students try to pass off others' work as their own? I tried to explain that I'd properly cited the source she was referencing, showing her the footnote and bibliography entry, but she interrupted me. Citations don't matter when you've fundamentally stolen someone else's ideas without adding any original contribution. This is academic fraud, and I'm recommending you to the Honor Council for immediate expulsion. Her tone was accusatory and final, as if the decision had already been made regardless of my defense. The accusation was completely baseless, since my thesis proposal contained properly attributed references and clearly identified original research contributions that built upon existing literature. The situation escalated when Victoria began questioning my entire academic record, suggesting that someone like me probably hadn't earned any of my grades legitimately. How does a student with your background end up at Stanford anyway? Diversity admissions lowering standards so people who don't belong here can take spots from qualified applicants. Her words carried unmistakable implications about my ethnicity and socioeconomic background that had nothing to do with academic performance. Maybe you've been cheating your way through this whole degree. Should I review every paper you've ever submitted, pull your transcripts, and find every grade that doesn't make sense? I sat there stunned, unable to process that a tenured professor was openly making discriminatory statements while threatening to destroy my academic career based on false accusations. The power dynamic was overwhelming, her position as department faculty versus me as a graduating senior with everything to lose. What Victoria didn't know was that I developed a habit of recording all my advisor meetings after a previous professor had given me contradictory guidance and then denied our conversations. My phone sat in my shirt pocket with the voice recorder app running, capturing every word of her discriminatory tirade and baseless accusations. Nobody would believe you if you complained anyway, Victoria said, leaning back in her chair with obvious satisfaction. I've been here 15 years with tenure and multiple research awards. You're just another student who couldn't handle Stanford's academic rigor. The Honor Council will take my recommendation seriously because I'm respected faculty and you're nobody. She outlined exactly how she'd bury me academically, ensuring no graduate school would accept me and no tech company would hire someone with an honor code violation on their transcript. Her confidence grew as she detailed the process of destroying my career, clearly enjoying the power she held over my future. By tomorrow, everyone in this department will know you're a cheater. Your recommendations will be worthless, your applications rejected. I'll personally contact every program and company you apply to and make sure they know about your academic fraud. She picked up her phone to begin the process immediately, explaining that she'd already drafted the formal complaint and just needed to submit it to trigger the investigation. This meeting is over. Get out of my office and prepare for the consequences of trying to cheat your way through my program. I stood up slowly, my hand moving toward my phone pocket as her words continued echoing through the small office space. Nobody would believe you anyway, she repeated with finality. The recording quality was actually pretty good, I replied calmly, pulling out my phone to show her the audio file that had captured the last hour of her discriminatory remarks and false accusations. Victoria's confident expression evaporated instantly as she stared at the recording interface showing clear audio levels and a full transcript. Her face cycled through confusion, recognition, and pure panic as she understood that every discriminatory comment, every false accusation, and every threat had been documented with perfect clarity. That's illegal, she stammered, reaching for legal arguments that didn't exist since California is a one-party consent state for recordings. You can't record conversations without permission. I showed her the state statute on my phone proving that recording our conversation was completely legal since I was a participant. Her threats had been preserved in their entirety, along with her explicit statements about racial discrimination and abuse of academic authority. Within 48 hours, Victoria was suspended pending investigation after I submitted the recording to the dean, along with a formal complaint detailing her discriminatory conduct and false academic fraud allegations. The recording made denials impossible, with her own words providing undeniable evidence of bias and abuse of power. Stanford's legal team moved quickly to contain the damage, understanding that a tenured professor openly making racist statements while threatening a student created massive liability. Victoria's 15-year career ended with a forced resignation and loss of tenure after the university's investigation confirmed every allegation. Her final email to me contained desperate apologies and pleas to withdraw my complaint, but the recording had already been shared with the appropriate authorities. Sometimes when someone says nobody would believe you, the best response is making sure everyone can hear exactly what they said.